We got to get people excited and passionate and thrilled about this data that doesn't necessarily get the kind of spotlight it should, which is, of course, master data, reference data, metadata, all that foundational stuff that really makes everything else go. And as a practice, I help people tell their data story. And so we have a very unusual story today that we're going to tell about data. And I'm joined today by Kai Huner.
Yes, my name is Kai Huner. I'm from CDQ and responsible there for what we call our data sharing services. So this is what we will talk about today, introduce the concept of data sharing, also explaining a little bit the background, the technical background, business benefits, and I'm very happy to get Scott's perspective on this.
What do we mean by data sharing? And I think it's important to set some context around master data management and master data sharing. And so when you think about a community, and I think that's one of the most important aspects of what CDQ provides, it provides this community environment, a place that people can trust each other, companies can trust each other to share this most important data. And the requirements around that too, you want to have common data governance, you want to have standardized rules, you want to have standardization across every element and every vector that you can and that you're capable of. But standards are there so we can all agree. And so this notion of being able to pool your resources, all focus on the same type of objective, be able to outsource is probably not the right way to put it, because it's not just an extension of your own organization for a particular use case or a particular activity, but really delve more into the community aspect of we're all trying to get to the same place in this common data, and we need a trusted, standardized, well-governed environment to do that. And you need third parties to manage that, who have no other agenda other than to make sure every community participant gets the best quality and the best standardized data they can for these very particular uses.
Trust and governance and standardization is on our very high levels shown on this slide. It's just the next chapter, so to say, to the film we've seen before. It's just the four companies who are putting their data together in this cross in the middle, where you have the shared data in the middle. This is actually the data of the joint customers, the joint vendors, at the end the joint business partners that they manage together. And managing this data together does not mean that they somehow delete or skip all their SAP environments, but it's just about joining forces in terms of keeping this data up to date, identifying updates, correcting legal forms, text numbers, things like that. They do it in a centralized, in a common infrastructure. They inform, so to say, each other if one of them updates such kind of records. And this way, the others get higher quality, and the others have less effort of getting this quality. So that's on a nutshell, so to say, our definition of data sharing. Higher data quality with less effort. On top or beside of this, also as a foundation, it is about sharing the rule set, the common understanding, the data model, how addresses are structured on a global level, how many tax numbers do you have, how are they structured, how to identify sources to validate them. So there is very many knowledge that is relevant for almost all companies, right? Because there are more than 200 countries around the world with their national laws, with their national requirements, and identifying these requirements and modeling them and implementing them in enterprise systems is a challenge for everyone, and this is also part of this data sharing game. So data sharing in our terms is about the metadata, the rule set, the concepts, and also about the rows, as Scott said, the actual records that are shared.
Really important concept that Kai brings up there, this notion of, common rules for data quality and governance, which I think is a really important and valuable benefit of this kind of community. It's not just the data, but you're all struggling to try and set up these rules. How do we find out about the next tax ID change? How do we have address classifications and address standardization by country? Why keep all that stuff to yourself? And why actually, more importantly, why manage that all independently when there's a lot of other companies out there doing literally exactly the same